as far as, the DNA samples they're using. I mean, are those the ones that they can submit to the court when they're kind of degraded like that?
They are, Erica. Most DNA testing centers have a minimum standard of loci that they require to report a DNA result. And the loci are locations on an individual's DNA that we know from scientific testing and peer-reviewed research often have what are called short tandem repeats. That's when we talk about YSTR testing, short tandem repeats. And what we see in those locations of everybody's DNA is that there's a preset number of times that a particular sequence in the DNA repeats itself over and over again. Now, many of those loci are DNA left over from when we were a different species. They don't have any application to how the human body is built today, but the DNA is still there. Some locations actually do express, as the term is called, in the human body today. But we still have these repeats. And it doesn't create a genetic defect of any kind. It's just the way DNA is built. So each of these loci is tested. Now, some labs have a minimum standard of 6 loci that they test. And if they get a match in those 6 loci, then they will report a result. Some labs require 10, 11, 12, or even up to 26 loci to say that they have a testable and reportable result from a DNA test. It really depends on the individual lab standards as far as what they feel comfortable reporting as an accurate DNA result. The other interesting thing about these short tandem repeats is that they occur both on the X chromosome, of which women have 2, and the Y chromosome, and men have 1 X and 1 Y chromosome. Now, the interesting thing about Y chromosomes is that my Y chromosome is identical to my brothers, all of my male children, and all of my paternal lineage, and all the males that go up in my male ancestry. So if you think about going back 3, 4, 5, 6 generations, my DNA is shared with millions of other men around the world in almost an identical fashion. So if you're only testing 6 loci, the chances of my DNA matching up to some other males anywhere in the world can be very high, in fact. When we get results reported about Y short tandem repeat testing, they're often reported in terms of this individual is 1 in 600. This individual can be 1 in 200. They're very, very low numbers that are often reported as a quote unquote match in these YSTR situations. So it really doesn't exclude people like people that have a similar genetic makeup. So people who are of European descent, people who are of African descent, people who are of Latin American descent. These individuals have even more similar genetic makeup, especially on the Y chromosome. And it makes it very difficult to distinguish one from another.